assets, opportunities even that you may lose.
You must ask yourself if you love the people, because the only thing that can bind you to the people you serve is love. Ambition is not enough.
I have discovered the power of kindness, and that has made me a radical optimist. That's why I stay away from politics and from religion.
Countries that take unilateral action or coercive action.
Actually like Pinoy personally.
It's not a beauty contest who's ahead of who, but to...
Once upon a time, we were all irrelevant. And I sincerely believe that there will come a time we will all return to the dark embrace of irrelevance.
Martin's Mancave.
Every project we do, it must be unique, memorable, and identifiable. You can see it in Rockwell. Not everything is monetized. There is this spiritual, psychological income. Usually clients, the paying clients, they know what they want, but they don't know what they need.
You're watching Martin's Man Cave here on podcast.ph. This is the 82nd episode with Architect Jun Palafox. Architect Jun, pag-usapan naman natin yung kolehiyo, no? Napag-usapan natin yung sa seminaryo. Ngayon naman sa kolehiyo, baka meron ka mga pangalan na gustong bagitin na nakatulong sa'yo o naging sanhi ng mga kabiguan o whatsoever.
Yeah. In college, I was in the first batch of 5 years of architecture, and fresh out of the seminary. It's like a break into the world, because I came from a close-tiered lifestyle, although international with the many foreign mentors. And so I practically tried everything when I was in college. Like, there was no military training in high school and seminary, so ROTC. I became a cadet officer, and I had no problems with the discipline. Then at second year, I'm supposed to be just deputy company commander, company head. But there was a hazing. All the upperclassmen were dismissed, so I was instantly promoted to battalion commander, which is supposed to be a fourth year.
Okay.
Again, being at the right place at the right time. Then the first popular election, the University of Santo Tomas, for the Central Board of Students, I was representing College of Architecture and Fine Arts. I got the highest number of votes, and I was my opponent was the president of the UST Debating Society and president of the College of Law. People were surprised. Like, I even got more votes than the unopposed candidate. So it was an origin. I was an editor-in-chief. I was with the Student Tourist Guides Bureau. But I was very serious with my academic. I had very, very high grades until I was very active with the First Quarter Storm as representative of the UST Central of Students of the National Union of Students of the Philippines. People like Edgar Robson, Chito Santa Ramona, Eric Bacolina, we were together. But UST was more moderate. And then for architecture, I remember my only professor in all my student life who gave me an incomplete, architect Ingracio Mariano. And he said, would you rather be an activist or an architect? So I took a leave of absence from the student activism at that time and concentrated on my architectural thesis. And I must thank him because martial law was declared while I was concentrating on my architectural thesis. So I was not a cum laude graduate for architecture because of that one incomplete grade. And then he used to tell us, maybe that influenced me doing alternative designs, alternative plans before selecting the chosen one. I'd rather see my mistakes on paper than see it in concrete. Because if you make a mistake in concrete, you're already buried down there. People will be cursing you for that mistake. And that has really inculcated me. And my relatives who are doctors would not even want me to quote that professor who was telling us, the doctors can bury their mistakes, but architects, long after you're gone, people will either be admiring you or cursing you for a mistake in concrete, which you cannot erase anymore. So the responsibility of building, that's why some of my interviews, especially after big disasters, I say corruption kills. If somebody got a kickback from the building, from the bridge, and thousands of people die because of that corruption, not following specifications. So it had an impact on me. And when I was invited to work in Dubai, they asked him how I was as a student, and he highly recommended me after scolding me for
Incomplete.
because I had very high grades for architectural design, but minus 5 points for every day of delay. Sometimes I'm in Sagada, Menjola, Zamboanga. So I could not submit on time. So minus 5 points for every day of delay. That's why he asked me, shall I fail you or incomplete? Sir, give me an incomplete, I'll take summer classes. And that has been, all my life I've always been top 3 in class and so on.
Do you have any, or do you have classmates that you still see?
Yeah, I still see some of them, but I see more of my classmates abroad than here because of my frequent traveling. But the ones from here, I still see them, like the Antonio brothers, who are architects, Arthur Leasing, who's more into preaching the Bible, Nesty Isla, who is more of a contractor.
I think Arthur Leasing built this.
Yeah, Arthur, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
right,
good.
yeah.
Then, who else? Boy Sunico is a painting contractor. We went different ways. Then, after UST, martial law, we can move on to master's degree at UP.
UP naman.
UP. Again,
UP was
master's degree
taken after Dubai or before Dubai?
Before Dubai.
Before Dubai.
And before Metroplan. So UP, I won the competitive exam for scholarship grant by the United Nations Development Program. But the condition was, for every year of scholarship, you must work for government projects 2 years. So the 2-year course, I took it in 13 months, was able to negotiate. Payback is 24 months. And I was very lucky enough because I worked with the president of UP, mostly intelligent, visionary men that time. OD Corpus for the UP campus plan. Then Public Works, Transportation, Communications, David Consumni. So when the World Bank funded Metroplan was approved, I was appointed as senior planner and team leader for development planning. I was only 25 years old.
Wow.
So at age 26, the ruling class of Dubai, they saw my name at Metroplan. So Sultan Khalifa Al Habtoor, very close to the rulers of Dubai, Minister of Labor, parliamentary member, Dubai City Council member, President, Managing Director of the Dubai Electricity, very powerful positions. He invited me to work in Dubai as an urban planner and architect. That was December 1976. I still have 120 days for my Metroplan commitment. And they were surprised. They waited for me. And what a break. They gave me the package of a European American in their mid-50s. And was only 26 years old. 1 ton excess baggage allowance. Wife plus 2 children. I only had 1 child. That's why Karima was born in Dubai. They built for us a villa, 4 gallons of gasoline every day. And we encouraged us to go around the world for every year of service 1 month. That's what started my frequent flying. And
you broaden
my perspective because I work with so many nationalities, so we had to adapt to challenges of interprofessional, interdisciplinary, multinational, different cultures. And one thing I enjoy very much is ideas in planning architecture immediately gets implemented.
So back in 76, Dubai was practically relatively desert. Nothing.
Like 1960, because when I was invited to work in Dubai, I checked there were books before, Lands and Peoples. And Dubai, Crucial States, it was not yet United Arab Emirates, 1965, 0 kilometer of paved roads, 1965. And 1977, when I went, 98% oil income. Today, Dubai is only 2% oil. They earn more in tourism, trade, commerce, aviation, sports tourism. And because Dubai is, which I always mention as a exemplar of good governance, and what they have really is leadership and innovation. Even if you're a foreigner, you have good ideas. In my time I was in Dubai, you can have dinner with the ruler of Dubai, and there's always a translator. No bureaucracy. Until now, Sheikh Mohammed, the son of the ruler, Sheikh Rashid, anybody can text him, email him to make Dubai sustainable, the best city in the world, happy Dubai. They accept it. And I see the formula of the more than 1,000 cities that I visited, having done work in 39 countries. The ingredients of success is, number 1, visionary leadership. Number 2, strong political will. Number 3, good planning, like recognizing the benefits of good urban planning. Number 4, good design, like architecture, engineering. Number 5, good governance. The rulers of Dubai, the heads of states of Singapore, prime ministers of Scandinavian countries, city mayors like Mayor Bloomberg or Giuliani before, they have all that ingredient.
Which of the 5 do we have? Not talking.
You have the answers.
Guess as good as mine.
And we are used to. And my speaking engagements abroad, like 2014, I was invited to speak 4 times in Russia. Supposed to be just 2 times. They gave requested me to give a lecture about the Philippines. And thanks to Mon Jimenez, I texted him, what's the growth tourist arrivals from Russia? It was 38%. But in volume, very small, but growth. And I shared with them, even late last year in New York, I spoke again, New York, Honolulu, and Shanghai. The Philippines so much blessed with so many things. We're number 1 in the world in marine biodiversity. We're now number 1 in sailors. We overtook the Greeks. We're now number 1 in call centers. We overtook India. I'd like to believe we are number 1 in musicians. Anywhere in the world, cruise ships, hotels, there are Filipino bands.
Yes.
We're number 2 in the world in geothermal energy. We're number 2 in the world in BPOs. We have the 3rd longest coastline in the world, longer than that of the USA. In Dubai, they have to create man-made islands just to increase their 70-kilometer waterfront into 2,000 kilometers. Countries go to war because they don't have waterfront, like Iraq invading Kuwait. And here we are, blessed by God, with so much waterfront. We're number 4 in the world in shipbuilding. We're number 4 in the world in gold. We're number 5 in the world in all other mineral resources. Number 5. We're number 12 in the world in human resources. And we used to be number 2 in Asia after Japan from the 1930s to 1970s. And the Philippines is 400 times the size of Singapore, 350 times the size of Hong Kong, 8 times Taiwan, 3 times South Korea. What happened? Corruption, criminality, climate change not being addressed more effectively. And some of my friends added 4 P's. Poverty, pollution, too much politics, and the police. Somebody added 2 letter T's, traffic and transportation. Then somebody added 2 I's, infrastructure and incompetence.
Why don't just add the entire alphabet?
So if we address all of this, we should be in the top 20 economies in the world by 2021.
I look at you and I see a gentleman with a whole brain perspective. And your right brain is also strong with all of your ideas running in your mind. And your left brain is also strong with all of the numbers that you can crunch. And pag hinalo-halo mo yun, sir, that basically explains who you are. How are you able to develop that whole brain? How do you call it, mentality, or what? That's just, I don't know, that's just your second nature, I guess.
Maybe starting with my parents, but it was developed more in the seminary. These international foreign missionaries, so passionate about their mission. Our prefect of discipline was a German. I heard came from a very wealthy family from Germany, and yet he was tortured when he was a missionary in China. He worked so hard here to mentor us discipline. Then my teachers in seminary, whether religion or Latin, twice a day, and they appointed me as class senior and first year, a provinciano in Metro in Manila, class senior. So when the professor is out, I take charge of the class, including grading my own classmates and discipline. And when you break the rules in the seminary with the German discipline, you write 1,000 times. I will not break silence again. I'll never be late again. Things like those. 1,000 times.
Galing, no? Kasi, sir, I mean, you have the heart for the poor. You're very compassionate. At the same time, you're very logical because you're also thinking about your company, how to grow this, and how to build structures that would adapt to our environment. At the same time, you're also giving money to the poor. I mean, this is not your daily regular one.
It's also I'm also an extraordinary minister for Holy Communion, which every parish I have. Used to be St. James Alabang, we live in Alabang. We came back to Makati. I'm now in St. Andrew Bel Air. When I was in Dubai, I was a lector. So I find that I'm a sinner, just like everybody else. So I go to confessions every 2 weeks.
Just like one of the UST alumni that we interviewed here, Christian Espiritu.
Yeah.
He is one creative guy and one logical guy. But I realized after interviewing him that he became more successful and famous and popular because he was so savvy with the media.
Yeah.
And that's who you are as well. Paano kayo naging media savvy?
Yeah, I think because of, again, in the seminary, we're all trained to be lectors. And in fact, when I go to the seminary and we have reunion with my former classmates, the priests, like, I have a classmate in California already. He gave the gospel, and suddenly he asked me, I let my classmate Jun Palafox do the homily. I'm so lucky I was listening to the gospel without preparation. Things like those. And my friends also, it's part of maybe, I never became a missionary. The responsible media, it's one way of reaching out to even to the poorest of the poor, from the up all income classes, regardless of race and so on. Again, it's still so fresh in my mind. The schools were designing and building in Kathmandu. The master founder of Chuchi, he challenged me. I want you to design those schools and hospital to last at least 1,000 years. And God forbid, if another earthquake happens, those will be the last buildings standing, becoming refugee center. The same instructions he gave me for BAM in Iran after a big earthquake. Here in our country, even government real estate, they lease it for 25 years. And I, as an architect, responsible architect, I design for at least 100 years. some of my projects abroad, 1,000 years. So if the building code said magnitude 8, we add 20% more, so that's magnitude 9.6 with earthquake that never happened. And those values, I get it from everyone, all religions and so on. And one of our global advocacy is one world under one God, whoever he calls him. Allah, the American Indians call him the Great Spirit from the hunting ground, Yahweh, whoever. And others, they call it the Buddhas, like gods and so on. But it's partly one superior spirit up there. And we are just tools to glorify him some more. So I tell my colleagues at Palafox Architecture, Palafox Associates, that every line we draw, think of the beneficiaries if you do a good job. Think of the sufferers if you do a lousy job, including like handicap ramps. You never know, maybe the first victim, if you don't put it, will be your grandmother. So we're very, very conscious of all of this. And usually clients, the paying clients, they know what they want, but they don't know what they need. If you compare the city to the human being, the central business districts are the heart, and the roads and waterways are the arteries. So we need a bypass. Open spaces are being sold and developed, so we're now losing the lungs of the city.
You mentioned designing for 1,000 years, and you yourself, you designed for 100 years. But I guess now your barometer is 100 years times 10. How would you like to be remembered after 1,000 years by your family? And let's talk about your family too. We have about 5 more minutes to talk about that. We'll be right back, I promise, with the great, the famous architect Jun Palafox here inside Martin's Man Cave on podcast.ph. Don't go away.
Letting me look back and this conversation give me the opportunity again to take a rear view mirror of my past and the windshield panorama of the future. My best, not just to be successful, but to be significant. Beneficiaries who are marginalized, discriminated on, and helping people like somebody who don't have money to see a doctor.